Good afternoon. My name is Professor John York. I'm doing this video as an introduction to Business 454. This is the third time I've had the honor of being able to teach this class, and we have, I think, a very exciting quarter coming up this fall. Why are we doing this class? What defines the motivation for this? What defines it is that, let me just quote some of your classmates from last year. This class allows for you to take what you have learned and apply it to a real client setting. It allows you to learn from what you've been taught in your other marketing classes and now bring it to the real world. In essence, this class embodies Cal Poly's learning by doing philosophy. And for you, it's not just about, I need to get this class done to graduate with my marketing major. It is something to enhance your resume, your skill sets, your connections, maybe get a recommendation or two from a client, maybe even a new business idea. This is geared for your future success. I call this a translational class to practice. So it's where we're helping you move from the school world to the work world. I've trained as a clinical pharmacist. I've worked with physicians. I've worked with other healthcare practitioners earlier in my life. And we would have, towards the end of our training, we'd have really what we call these practice clinics, where we would be transitioning from the academic classroom into the real world. In many ways, this class is analogous to that because we're putting you with a real client. In this class, we'll have 7 clients. We have 35 students, means 5 students per team. You will get to directly deal with a client and client situation over the next 10 weeks. And this is what's important, is the customer. And building that customer relationship and building all these aspects that make for a great customer relationship, which is so critical to building both your personal brand, but also the brand of your company and your product. So what are we going to try to accomplish? Well, let me just walk you through, because I do this part of my practice, and I run a consulting practice for the last 17 years. Got a scope of work. You're going to have to refine it. Clients want more than you can adequately define and do within a set of time. But you refine that scope of work so you have something that they can live with and is most critical to their business, but also something that you can effectively sign off on and deliver. You'll build a project plan. That's in that first week you'll be doing that. But during the class, throughout it, you'll be developing team skills, solving problems both within the team, for the marketing project, as well as with the client. And I will say, with the client, there are issues that do pop up, and you have to learn to develop skills to handle the client issues. Market research skills, strategy and tactical skills, and communication skills, because great marketers are great presenters. And last but not least is strong client engagement and experience skills, because be very honest, if you have these great client skills, you will do well in sales, you will do well in management, you will do well in life. Okay, and it makes a difference. I know running an agency for a year when your business does okay to your business does fantastic. So what are we going to do? We got 10 weeks. Week 1, we're going to form this team that you're going to be a part of. Actually, in the first day, we're going to be engaging you as a team. Okay, looking at clients and then being able to figure out who's going to fit with which teams. And then day 2, you're going to be putting forth an introduction to the client. And during that first week, you're going to engage the client because you'll have a presentation on day 4. Talk about your scope of work and your work plan. From there on in, over the next 8 weeks, you'll be doing the work, engaging the client, filling in your knowledge, presenting updates to class, and then you'll do final presentations. To help you along, we have on PolyLearn, I've set up the shell. It's worked well. We have an overview section. Announcements are very important. And Zoom is very important because Zoom is a tool that allows you to deal with clients at long distance and even to pull the team together, or even to engage with me when I'm maybe traveling or up in Paso Robles where I live. Client background information. This is going to be critical. I encourage you to look at this information early on before you come to the first class. So you have a sense of different clients, who you might be interested in or not. They have 2-page overviews. Some have a little video. We'll have in PolyLearn 2-week schedule and deliverable due dates, so you know what is coming up. And then other important sections, such as your assignments, such as required books, team sign up, these are deliverables that are going to be just in the first week. Team formation materials, and then also academic materials and reading. We have several key readings. I encourage early on to get the Art of Client Service. I've been told by a number of students this is valuable, and that at the end of the day, reading it in the first week will make such a difference in your client engagements. It's short, it's sweet, we're going to have a great discussion around it. Another good book which deals with team and problem solving is The McKinsey Engagement, which is written by Paul Friga, who's at North Carolina, but was a McKinsey consultant for a number of years. And on the bottom here, we're going to have a discussion around these 3 articles by Drs. Ali and Barbara Minta. And this is going to be very critical because you're going to have to do presentations. And what is taught through these articles in our discussion will allow you to understand about how do I frame up my presentation? How do I create the hook? How do I tell the story in terms of the situation, the complication, and the question to be asked, and ultimately the recommendations I want to make. So you're very clear. You break out the structure of your presentation into several key pieces so it's easy to follow and digest. We'll also backfill with a lecture or 2, both live and on video, because everyone's needs are going to be different. I can tell you for this quarter we have several clients that will have branding exercises, so I'll have a lecture that we'll be dealing with relative to branding. But the bulk of work is going to be done by you and your team. In class, out of class, research in the field, engaging your client, which is going to be very, very critical, and using the library for market research. So you ask, how can I be successful? I've laid out a number of things in the syllabus that will give you some insight in terms of successful strategies and not successful strategies. But really quickly, first of all, is your personal deliverables are 45%. That's your book summaries, your flexion paper at the end of the class. Peer assessments, take them seriously. It can make or break you in terms of an A or a C. And class participation. But keep in mind that more weight will be placed on your team deliverables. Okay? And that's your deliverable set in first week relative to your first client engagement, as well as your first presentation, 1 of 4. You'll have a final client presentation, which is 15%. You'll have a client evaluation. And then last but not least, I allocate professor points based on how I see you working, what you're doing, the quality of your work, quality of your client engagement as well. And keep in mind the focus on the client. Be professional in your conduct and dress. We have had some individuals who have fallen short in this, and it's affected their client engagement and actually frustrated a client or 2. Respect time, be concise, organize, make sure the deliverables you send are accurate and clean and written well. Add value every step of the way, and think through what you're recommending in your actions. Just because you think it's a good idea doesn't mean it's a great idea. Make sure if you come forward, you have good data to support your positions. Remember to present and communicate well, because this is key to success. Take your teamwork seriously. We already talked about 15% of your grade is a team grade, your peer assessment. So what I encourage is share work, be prepared, be inclusive. Okay, don't push people out. Make sure they're all together and involved. respect each other and bridge differences. There are going to be different perspectives. There's going to be a lot of passion. This happens in marketing teams. I've seen it in marketing. I've seen it in advertising. But what's going to make or break you is the ability for you all to pull together. Because if you can't pull together, you won't be able to perform. Okay? And at the end of the day, focus on the client needs. In class, be there. Okay? Be on time, attend, I do sign-ins, be engaged, focused, respectful. No iPhones, no other work for another class. Your class participation, I watch and I grade you off that, and you learn from each other, because much of the classes when we do presentations are going to be interactive. And be attentive to your deliverables. Make sure they're on time. Send them via email, 9 p.m. the due date, by the same person so we have consistency. Pay attention to format recommendations, because you get marked off for lateness and format issues. And also for sending something when I want it in a Microsoft document sent as a Google Docs or PDF. Make sure the work that you share looks professional. Remember, we'll have 7 presentations through this class. So focus on your presentations. This will help you build essential skills for workplace success. Remember, it's what and how you present. So when I evaluate presentation, I'm looking at form, I'm looking at delivery, and I'm looking at content. So think about the form side in terms of your PowerPoint, but also think about your Minto and your Ally readings, which will help you in terms of organizing and telling the story, which will get tied to your delivery, and then in terms of the content as well. Other issues? Be ethical. Don't make stuff up. Don't plagiarize, and own your work. And if you have to withdraw from class, because I've had a situation in the previous class where I had a student who couldn't complete the class and did not withdraw, and unfortunately the student was not able to get a withdrawal incomplete and suffered by not having a great grade, to talk to me. So remember, at the end of the day, this class at the end of the day is to apply what you've learned marketing. It's about the customer. It's about client satisfaction relationship. Okay? And these are just a happy client. It's translated by price and quality, but quality, delivery, reliability, and efficiency are probably the most important pieces and can outweigh in terms of pricing. You can make a difference with that client in the relationship, and you can build a great brand for yourself, for your team, and for Cal Poly with this client. So I have a question for you. Are you ready? I certainly am myself. So let's have some fun and be ready to hit the ground running on Monday the 18th. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you in a few days. Last but not least, just in case you were wondering who your professor is, I've had 25 years in marketing, 17 years in client service, 15 years of my own firm. I have degrees both as a clinician in pharmacy from the University of Michigan, but an MBA from Kelley School of Business, and a certificate both in life science management, as well as I'm working on my marketing certificate at Cal Berkeley. It's my 6th class at Cal Poly. Joe York, not JL York, is the email. My hours are Mondays from 12 to 1. Fridays I can make. You just need to let me know. And if you have as needed appointments, you need to email me and set the time before class. So if you have questions, let's talk to class or one-on-one. Until then, I wish you a great end of summer, and I'll look forward to seeing you on Monday.